Hey kids, I'm back. And I fucked up, which is not new, but I actually did an intro to this video and I think I deleted it. I'm gonna look for it, so if I find it, I'll stick it on the front of this and you can ignore this part I just said. But if not, here's the beginning of the video. Bam! So, welcome to JJ Rotogeek's Junkyard. What I did, you guys know I like building weird shit. I like taking spare parts and building stuff. I got a wall full of beautiful birds, but I like building my poor boys slash D215 hybrids. I like building my EWAD drones and my crazy ass Y4 drones, and this is my Y4 racer. I've had a lot of you ask about my Y4s, and I'm debating. I got enough spare parts I could build another one of these and show you guys how to do it, because they are fun as shit. But I decided to do another mix and match genetic testing. Hang on, I need a drink. Oh shit, the bed. Okay. Micro testing thing, and I'm calling this my JJ Rotogeek Roto Junkyard episode. So that's what this is. I've only bought two, I believe, pre-built micro brushless quads, and I hated them both. The first one was the what was that fucking thing? Babyhawk, emax babyhawk, biggest crap wagon you'll ever see in your life. Terrible bird. And the other one was the KingKong GT95 or 95 GT. And that was a piece of crap in my opinion. It had good motors, but it had a proprietary ESC, and it had the most horrific flight controller on earth. So I'd actually put an F4 omnibus micro in it. So here's what we did. I took both these birds apart, tore them apart, and put them together in a fucking cool bird. And here it is. This is the KingKong 95 GT slash Crappy Hawk. JSONified. Check that shit out. Now, you guys know I've got this little guy, which I crashed with Blackhawk the other day. My 80 millimeter pod racer, which this thing's just fast, amazing bird. It's 3S or 2. In the video you guys saw me flying yesterday, I was flying this one in one of my fly eggs on 2S, and they just haul ass. But these are 1104 motors. But I love this frame so much, and I trashed the first one, and I bought two more of these frames, and I rebuilt my 80, and I took the other one and did the Crappy Hawk rebuild. Now, there's a couple little caveats or tricks to this. What we did, here's what's left of my KingKong 95 GT, 25 milliwatt transmitter with camera, which we'll use, the proprietary ESC, I doubt I'll ever use, the shitty ass little wannabe frame, which I'll probably never use. That's all that's left of him. Then the Crappy Hawk, here, there you go. There's probably some other bits and pieces. If any of you want a free 95 GT frame or a free Crappy Hawk frame, I will be taking the motors off of this. It'll just be the frames. Please let me know. Give me your address. I'll ship them to you, because I'm never using them. This one's potentially decent because you can put real equipment in it. This one, you can't put real, well, you could, but ow. It's actually a sturdy frame. The Crappy Hawk had a sturdy frame, but that's it. So anyway, I even have the spare hood. I think I flew this thing like 3 times. So, Crappy Hawk. I took out it had individual bullet ESCs. So it had ESCs on every arm, which is the gayest fucking idea for a micro I have ever seen in my life. But I did use those. They're only 6 amp. 6 amp ESC with an 1104 can motor. Who thought that fucking recipe up? That is the worst combination in the world, because these suck. The minimum ESC you should run on 1104 is a 10 amp. Period. I would prefer you run a 15, but I run 25s and 15s. I think I might have a 10 floating around, but yeah, 6 amp? Really, guys? But I do know for a fact those 6 amps will tolerate a 3S for a little while. I wouldn't recommend it. The motors, 1104 motors, might be good, but they have these proprietary little tiny ass fucking Bardwell sized screws, and they just, ugh, whatever. So what we did, Crappy Hawk, took out the camera. The camera's actually decent out of the babyhawk. It's switchable from 25, I believe, 25 milliwatts to 100. So I kept that. I got a little hot glue strings on here. And I cut into this yellow wire on the Crappy Hawk, and you can split that into OSD. I'm using an F4 flight controller. So now this thing has OSD, and in case any of you are wondering, the Crappy Hawk camera it is PAL, it is not NTSC. So if your OSD doesn't show up if you do one of these funky builds, that's why. Put it in PAL. I did take the motors, the KingKong 1103-7800 motors off the KingKong. I used the Crappy Hawk individual ESCs, which, guys, fucking don't ever do this. And I might even throw up a recipe card for this if you want to build something similar. I wouldn't. I would build this one, which is the 80mm racing pod. Build this. This is just a last-ditch effort to take two quads that I never fly and make them something cool. Individual ESCs, I don't know if you can see in there, but these fuckers go all the way back, kids. It was not easy. And then I waterproofed them with my juice, and then I put my captain tape on there. A little bit of a buzzer, the camera heavily modified. And we got our little, what are these fuckers? KingKong 1935 props, which are a little fucked up. A little bit. I haven't even flown it yet. I have armed it just to see if it works and the camera works and all that stuff. So we're going to do a maiden. Now, the one thing where I did fuck up, and we all do, I did not leave room for a strap. Bad math. So I don't like doing it this way, and if I ever have to take it apart and put real ESCs in it, I'll fix that. But for the time being, we're just going to use my super duper Sherlock tape, and as long as you don't crash too hard, it stays on. The other thing that I did change, when I ordered standoffs to ChopShop my Hellbenders, I ordered a bunch. These are 20 mil. My receiver's buried under here. I don't know if you can see that or not. And flight controllers right there and all that. The original 80mm kit comes with these plastic standoffs, which is fine. But I knew I needed a little bit more height on this one because I had to sit the flight controller on top of the ESCs. Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. So I used 20mm aluminum standoffs. Adds a little bit more weight, but it looks fucking tits. Look at that. That thing looks like a Roman battlefield or something. I don't know. This is strictly a 2S bird, though. We're running 6 amp ESCs with 7800 kV 1103s. If it'll run a 3S, it ain't going to be for long. So we're just going to stick to 2S. And it feels kind of heavy to me. But you know what? Oddly enough, it's not that bad. The scale that tells no lies, I'll weigh this one's got 1104 7500s, 66. This thing flies like a bitch on fire. This one, 60. It is less weight. However, it also has smaller motors. So we'll see what happens. But you know what? Here's what I was thinking. So this is a very expensive micro. When you consider the awesome GT95 is, I think, around $100. The Crappy Hawk from Emax is also $100. Not to mention I put my own flight controller in there. You're looking at a $220 micro. That's really, really bad math when you can build this bad motherfucker for like $100. But the way I saw it was, I've got two birds that I'm never going to fly. I've got these awesome freaking micros. I'm never going to fly those two birds. So I'm just going to gut them, which I did, and see if we can't make something cool. So that's that. Here's a trick. If you ever have to mount, like in this case, these ESCs came all the way back to the center. They're all corner to corner to corner. So I had no room for standoffs. So what I did, if you ever have to float mount a flight controller on a micro, float mount meaning you're not using nylon standoffs, what you want to do is take some double-sided tape, put that double-sided tape on the back of your flight controller. I've got one. Here's a cheap piece of shit babyhawk flight controller. This thing's a badass. It works though, I guess. But if you ever had to hot glue this in, what you want to do is take a little bit of this double-sided tape, put it on the back side. Don't worry if it's even or not. That's irrelevant. And then take another little piece of it, put it on the frame or whatever you're gluing it onto, in this case, the ESCs. Then take some hot glue, put it on the double-sided tape, hold it as level as possible until it dries. Bam, you're done. The reason you do that If you do have to pull this out later, hot glue has a tendency to rip off tiny components. So there you go. And the other thing is, if when you pull it off, you can just roll that tape off gently with your thumb and not damage your board. The other thing that it is a benefit is it technically soft mounts your board, because you've got a piece of double-sided foam tape, a piece of double-sided foam tape hot glued together. And that way, when you rip it out, all you're ripping up is the tape. You're not fucking up the components. Bam! Good idea. So let's take this piggy out for a test drive, and I will be right back, and we will talk about it and see what happens. Fucker might go up in flames, don't know. Be right back. Check it out.
Look into the eyes of the government liars. Listen to the sound of the guilty quiet. Blood stains on the sacred fire.
Hey, well, I would call that a success. That was pretty sweet. Yeah, the first flight that you saw, the first video, and then you see me crash, I had the little 1935 KingKongs on. And then after that, I took those props off because I noticed the speed was awesome, but I had no punch out. So when I was doing dives, and I do freestyle, I mean, let's not fucking fool ourselves here. I noticed when I tried to pull out of a dive or anything else that it lacked a lot of power. So I put, after that battery, or after that crash, I put the 4-bladed 2-inch gem fans on. Still running the exact same battery. I recharged the exact same battery, which was a 2S LiPo. What was that, piggy? It's Ganang. What is that shit? Sorry you can't see it. 80 to 160C, whatever that means. 550, which is actually a pretty big battery. Put the 4 blades on, and actually Blackhawk came over at the same time, and yeah, and it really didn't fly great because you can see this prop is a little fucked up, but realistically it had plenty of punch, plenty of flip out, absolutely perfect. So we've got the 7800 KV 1103s with 2-inch gem fan 4-blade props on the 2S, and bam, fucking awesome. I'm so glad I did this. I got to figure out a better mating setup for the camera mount. That's kind of shitty, but you know, other than that, I might even put it in the fly egg, honestly. I love this frame, but it doesn't hold this camera very good. But anyway, take a Crappy Hawk and take a KingKong Q95, stick them together, bam, you got a cool bird. So there you go. If there's anybody out there that wants to build this, I don't recommend you buy these ESCs. Buy a 6 amp or preferably a 10. Buy a 10 amp ESC all in one. Buy an F4 omnibus. These are all 20 millimeter mounts. Make it neat. This is bullshit putting these in, but I had them, so that's what we do. And then build a pod racer. And these little KingKong motors, I'm never going to run 3S on this. I think it ran like a bat out of hell on 2S. I'm pretty happy with it. I know that for a fact 3S are just going to overheat these motors, and I've got enough 3S birds. So there you go. That's the JJ Rotogeek Chop Shop, or Junkyard, or whatever you want to call it. Bam! Turned out pretty cool. 2 birds I would have never flown. Made a bird I will fly. Very cool. So, till next time, kids, keep the shiny side up. Love talking to you. Take care. Bye-bye.